Hello guys, this is Wallas, Poland's main toy dude. As you can see, I still retained my ability to speak in English, and I would like to use it today to start my English-based, how should I say, vlog, the Wallas Chronicles, something I did in a similar fashion a few days ago in Polish, and I'm going to use this format in English as well to talk about stuff that concerns this channel, and some of my thoughts on Transformers and other toys I'm engaging in recently. So the first issue of this Wallas Chronicles is going to talk about this guy. Yes, most of you can identify this as Masterpiece Starscream MP03 Generation 1 colors. This is also the Takara version, by the way, but it's not really the point now. And I'm recording this in response to my observations from looking at some 3 or 4 recent video reviews of MP11 Starscream, the one with the cape, the new Destron Leader Starscream. Now, there's just one really annoying thing for me in all of those reviews. I'm not going to point out fingers at who recorded them because that's not the point. However, all of these reviews state that this MP11 version that you can buy now is a remold of this one, and they often cite some improvements over this thing that occurred in the new version. However, I'm afraid that is a huge misconception on their part, because, actually, when they say that the MP11 is a new mold, they could not be further from truth. Actually, this is the first mold, and what you can see on the screen right now is the second mold. How does that work? Well, I followed the history of Masterpiece Starscream before its release, and several prototype pictures shown by Takara indicate that the boxy thing you can buy now was the first attempt, and then they looked at it and they decided it's too blocky, so they hired Shoji Kawamori of the Macross fame, the guy who gave us these things, and asked him to refine the model into something more slim and aerodynamic, and the result is this thing, which is actually the second version of this mold. This works kind of like the history behind Generations, Wheeljack and RTS tracks. So this one was released first. However, actually this is the base model, and when this was developed, Hasbro asked Takara if they could somehow make tracks out of it, and they said yes. And I don't know, through some management decisions this was released first, but really this was the base design that both of these are working on. And the same thing goes with Masterpiece Starscream. Shoji Kawamori remolded this into this thing, and for some reason they thought it was the better version, so they released it first, but fans complained about, for example, these thingies, so they decided, oh hell, if we are making a new remold, why not just use the base design that we had years before? So when people, for example, say that the heel spurs back here were not implemented in this one, and praise that the new version has them, saying, why did they could not think about it years before? Well, actually they did. Kawamori just skipped it from his version, which we could buy first. So yeah, this is the second version that got released first. It might be confusing, but that's the truth. So if any of you are listening to reviewers saying that the MP11 is the remold of this guy, no, really, it's the other way around. This is the remold of MP11, so please have it in mind whenever people say something about MP11, especially when they praise it or when they say something's bad. And here, second version. So I think that's going to be about that for the main topic of this journal, the chronicle you could say. And also I'm thinking about sometimes doing English reviews once in a while again, because honestly I think looking at my statistics, English speaking countries are quite high on my viewer rate, so I'm thinking if I should not do something about that. One option was making subtitles, but they are pain in the bottom, I can tell you that much. I'm not really sure if they're really worth the efforts, and sometimes I'm thinking of doing English versions back to back with Polish versions of the reviews on some toys. However, I would like to ask you guys if you are interested in that, because I can tell you whenever I look at my English versus Polish stuff, I can see this huge difference in viewer rate. Polish stuff gets lots of views, and English, which are sometimes really petitioned a lot, don't. That's quite bizarre for me. I'm not really sure how should I act about it, but that's the question for you, my English reviewers. Would you like to have some more English reviews? And if yes, please tell me what kind of toys would you like, because as you can tell, I'm kind of going outside of the box with Transformers, and I'm touching other things like Power Rangers, Bandai, Yamato stuff. Heck, I even bought Super Robot Chigokin Gaiga the other day. So that's an option too. Supposing I get enough feedback to actually justify recording something, I might. Especially that in a few months I'm getting released from the hardships of being a student. So even though I'm going to have a full-time job, I might have slightly more time for reviews. So I do not take out of the question doing, for example, one review a week, but into language versions. So that's pretty much up to you. If you'd like to see something like that, this is for your consideration, and I'd be really happy if you'd write your thoughts on this down there in the comments. Anyway, I think this is all for this issue of Wallas Chronicles, and I'll see you again soon, possibly with a small English review or some other stuff in language you can actually understand. Thank you for your attention, and see you soon. This has been Wallas, Poland's main toy dude.